Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz podcast.
All right, we really enjoyed yesterday's show, and today's is going to be better. Dominic Foxworth is coming in here, and I'm going to tell you why it's going to be better right now, because this show is drowning right now in what can only be described as chaos. We've got too many crusades going on. That's one problem. Mike did not sign up to be a crusade. He was just a radio producer, and now because we don't have a crusade department, we've got too many crusades going on. So mistakes are going to be made, and we're going to fall in holes. Dominic Foxworth is here to try to help carry us. He thinks we should add more crusades. But right now, I just heard Mike Ryan, we've made a bunch of mistakes, and now it sounds like somebody at 99-something-9 in some city in Tulsa thinks that a Markenzie Johnson is coming on the show.
Martenzie, that's a fun.
Mother!
Yep, it's 99.9 The Fan.
Whatever.
Martenzie's a great dude. I think we should, if we're pitching or we're promoting the show in Tulsa that Martenzie's going to be on the show, we need to find Martenzie and get him on the show.
All right, let's backtrack for just a second. Mike, during the middle of everything that was happening, and I'm waving around documents here like I'm a journalist. Mike, just muttering under his breath. This is actually what he said. He's like, 49 boxes of T-shirts. That's all I heard from him, because he's planning a parade at UCF. We have got UCF fired up because we got to go to Orlando to celebrate their national championship that Paul Feinbaum is mad about. And I'm here for any championship that Paul Feinbaum is mad about.
Yeah, you're on the right side.
I am on the correct side of history here. Him with his SEC love complaining because UCF beat his beloved team that beat the other two teams. UCF is the champion. So we got that parade going on. Mike's not a parade planner. We're trying to smoke out the owner of the Marlins, because all of these people that were in cahoots to bleep Miami, we want to put them out in front of everybody to make fun of them. So that's another crusade.
We're not really trying. We're just talking about trying.
Well, no, but we smoked out the commissioner.
Yeah,
we are trying. We are going to get there. We'll get there eventually.
Right. That was a successful crusade. That's why I think we have a vacancy. We have an opening for another crusade, because you successfully got the commissioner on here and got him to face some hard truths.
Okay, so what are some other crusades we can take up? Because I got one. It's much smaller than the others, but I have a nominee.
More crusades?
Yes, another crusade. I would like to understand. It's a crusade to understand why A-Rod thinks he could pick the play-by-play guy for ESPN, as is suggested in reports. It's suggesting in reports that A-Rod is so rehabilitated. He is so rehabilitated after, being banned from the sport. All you need to do is date J-Lo. We'll chase you through the streets. But he's so rehabilitated that he's done what? How many games has A-Rod done in his career? 4? 5? You get to pick your play-by-play guy on Sunday Night Baseball? Everybody knows it's Boog Sciambi. Boog Sciambi is the best we got at the network. He's the best we got. Everybody knows it. A-Rod's going to sabotage that? These are reports, by the way. I don't know if this is true. I'm just reading reports.
I mean, if J-Lo gives you the thumbs up, that's good enough for me.
Be careful. You don't want to get on the wrong side of A-Rod. He may be your boss soon.
Yep.
Be careful.
Well, this is what's happening. That's amazing in the Centaurian rise of A-Rod. He's totally rehabbed. Just sprinkle some J-Lo on it. How? We went Pedro Gomez. I saw Pedro Gomez chasing a Miami doctor through a parking lot because of A-Rod.
Remember those days?
Yeah, I mean, wait a minute, what? What, he gets to pick the play-by-play guy? No, he doesn't get to. What are you talking about? It's A-Rod. Have we all forgotten that there's A-Rod?
I mean, you might as well ask at this point if you're
A-Rod.
I
get making the ask if you're A-Rod. Nobody at ESPN can take that seriously.
Oh. It's so incredible how fickle we are as a society. Just a smile, some good jokes. When you show us you got a good personality, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he brought J-Lo back.
Yeah. It's a bad crusade, Dan. I'm going to argue that this should not be the crusade.
It's a bad crusade.
Because, A, he's too powerful. And B, who's going to be the play-by-play guy is not as important as the crusade I'd like to suggest.
Well, all right. I want to get to what your crusade is in a second. Mine, admittedly, might be a bad crusade. And I say this as someone who has, I don't name drop this. I just have known A-Rod since he was high school. So I was there the day that he was drafted in his home because he's a Miami athlete. And this is the single most amazing sports journey I've ever seen. And I'm including Ali. Like, what the hell has A-Rod done in his life that he can arrive here today? This is what America has birthed.
J-Lo.
This is what America has birthed. As 7 of the top 10 Twitter follows in the world are Biebers and Katy Perrys and Kardashians. What America's birth is that you deserve as your athlete who replaces Ali to be A-Rod.
As you get older, Dan, you just get so much hate in your spirit, and I don't like it.
You really do.
But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Who's the athlete for our times more than A-Rod?
Let's celebrate
Let's not make it civil rights. Let's make it about guy who went through scandal that wasn't really actually a scandal, and all it did was increase his celebrity.
Don't hate, celebrate.
It didn't work that way for Lance Armstrong, did it?
Not quite.
No.
It's never worked that way for any human being I've ever seen. Wait, what? A-Rod gets to pick who he works with on the Brown. What has A-Rod done?
I told you, J-Lo.
Other than give us content for a year laughing at him because we were chasing these doctors who weren't doctors through parking lots. We're just going to keep giving A-Rod all the greatest jobs in entertainment?
I'm doing HQ with you all week, and on Tuesday on HQ, you were hating on the idea that John Gruden was reportedly getting proposed ownership stake in the team. You're just a hater.
You know, what it might be is I don't like that people at ESPN are getting more power than I am.
That's what it is.
Is that what it is? Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
oh,
Wow.
Maybe is that why Stephen A. Smith ripped Gruden the other day? Because that's the power struggle that's what it is. I just realized it. Thank you for being a mirror. Oh, I don't like myself. I see A-Rod. Wait a minute. Gruden's gone now. More room for me and our stuff. Everybody get out of the way.
You'll learn to be comfortable in your own skin.
I don't like what's looking back at me. I don't like what's looking back at me. The top spot's open. Do we have to knock down Stephen A. Smith to get at it? What's looking back at me is you.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Here's your SportsCenter update. UCF has claimed the national championship, recognizing their undefeated season, and AD Danny White said that the school will pay their coaches title bonuses. The Lithuanian team that is taking in LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball are trying to set up a basketball tournament so they can receive more playing time. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
But I blew it. I didn't get to Dominique's crusade. What can we do? What other crusades? Mine is admittedly not a great crusade.
T.O. in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's a good one.
I got to get T.O. in the Hall of Fame.
I got my own crusade. Tony Baselli in the Hall of Fame.
We got to attach Baselli to T.O. We'll get extra points.
Package deal?
Package deal. We got to add a little, little whiteness to this campaign.
Oh, T.O. can get in with a little bit of Baselli's.
Yeah.
I was a gritty, tough guy, and I never had controversy because I'm a great teammate.
So we got to get them together.
Don Le Batard.
America is addicted to its technology, and it's really unhealthy.
I keep having this discussion with my wife because she is on that phone nonstop. And what I have asked for our family to do moving forward is let's figure out a time where all of us put our phones away and none of us use them till the next morning.
Stugats.
Yeah, but nobody wants to be with you.
That just dawned on me. Thanks, Dan.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
That's such a good idea you just had, Stugats, during the break. He is suggesting that the Browns need to figure out a way to parlay all their assets to get both Rosen
and Darnold.
And Darnold.
Neither want to be there.
Neither of them want to be there, but just get the 2 picks so that you could just take them too. Get the 1 and the 2 so you just take them both. And look, We don't know if we've solved it, but we've got twice the chance as usual.
Mike, what do they have right now? You're a Browns fan. They have 1-4. Is that what they have right now?
1-4, sitting pretty.
They got 14 total picks, so they could package
them all for 1 and 2
all to get 1 and 2,
and just get both of them.
I'm not even certain they have to, because the Colts are sitting at 3 and they have Andrew Luck, and the Giants are sitting at 2 and they have Eli Manning. I don't even know if they have to.
Jim Irsay basically came out and said they want.
What the hell did you just do?
Oh, no, the new GM. Have you seen this guy?
Gettleman? Yeah, Gettleman said he wants Eli back.
He is moving forward with Eli Manning.
All right, well, hold on a minute. I got something for this Gettleman. This guy got run out of Carolina. Nobody likes him. I got to say, talking about gas bags. Good Lord. But Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Gettleman the biggest gas bag in sports? We'll get to that in a second.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Le Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics. Taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show. Up here via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Here's your SportsCenter update. UCF has claimed the national championship, recognizing their undefeated season, and AD Danny White said that the school will pay their coaches title bonuses. The Lithuanian team that is taking in LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball are trying to set up a basketball tournament so they can receive more playing time. It's funny. And finally, HBO's True Detective has added Stephen Dorff to the cast for season 3. The actor will play an Arkansas State investigator who, along with his partner, has his life and career influenced over 3 decades by a baffling crime. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
We are looking to kill our staff with crusades throughout sports.
One crusade at a time?
We are in a bad
Actually, it's multiple crusades.
It's multiple crusades, and now Dominique wants another one. But let's think about this TO crusade for a second, because when you're doing this stuff for a long time, what ends up happening is opinions evolve, things change. And so once upon a time, the reason, if you like Greg Cody on our show, the place that started is because Greg Cody of the Miami Herald was sort of a cliched sports journalist, sort of doddering through a newspaper time. And one of the things that he would do on sports radio would ask the question, should steroid-tainted guys like Bonds and Clemens get into the Hall of Fame? But so many things have happened since that hacky radio question that started Greg Cody's popularity on our show, that Greg Cody now has a Hall of Fame vote that I lost because I sold it to Deadspin. And with that Hall of Fame vote, he has indeed voted for Clemens and Bonds this year. So that crusade, we can celebrate that is over. An unanswerable question has been answered. Do we now take the pukey sports radio hackneyed topic of Dominique's, which is, should T.O. be in the Hall of Fame, and make that our crusade?
Whoa. It's not a question. We know that he should. We are doing a crusade. The same way that we know that college athletes are being treated unfairly, that is a crusade that should be taken up. But right now we're going to take on a smaller crusade to do right by T.O. and Tony Boselli.
T.O., is there anyone who thinks T.O. shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame other than the people voting for it?
No, there are people.
No, other than people voting for it. Like, if we put it, there are people in our audience listening to this show who would look at the numbers and say that does not belong in the Hall of Fame.
Don't forget to put Boselli on there, too, so we can get 100%.
Yeah, I think there are people who were so turned off by T.O. and some of his antics that, I think Bill Polian, I remember him saying last year he didn't think that T.O. was deserving.
Tony Boselli.
At least not first ballot.
But hold on a second, and I know, for those of you complaining, as you often do whenever a race topic makes an appearance, we haven't talked race around here very much, but Terrell Owens is defiant black man. And defiant black man in sports has rarely been treated well in team sports. In individual sports, yeah, because we fear boxers and fighters and violence, and so we'll give Jack Johnson as wide a berth as he wants because we don't want him to steal all our women. Like, that's what was happening in the 1920s. Now,
you think Jack Johnson had a wide berth?
He as the heavyweight champion, he had a different experience in America historically by a lot. He was somebody who was stopped by a police officer with white women in his car, and it was yes, Mr. Johnson, where that probably wouldn't have happened to the average black person at the time.
Apologies for the sidetrack. Back to
no, that's okay. And so I want to figure out here though how we do this. Where do we go from here on this, Stugatz?
You're asking me where to go? Like, I'm the guy you're going to move forward on this?
The reason I'm asking the question is, T.O., I feel like everyone in the audience just simply knows T.O.'s excellence merits the Hall of Fame. That can't be disputed.
Yeah, but I think people also know that eventually he'll get in. Like, if he just waits around, and that's the unfair part about it. T.O. should have gotten in the second he was eligible to get in. He's one of the greatest wide receivers ever.
That's the best part about my crusade, is we get to do very little work and declare ourselves winners because T.O. has to get in this year, right? Right?
I mean, I just can't believe he's not already in. I mean, he's one of the 5 best at his position ever, maybe top 2.
Well, it's very clear it's not about merit. The voters are trying to teach T.O. a lesson.
Okay, but the part I want to get into about...
Yeah, but I want the voters teaching players lessons. I'm tired of that.
But the part I want to get into, okay, let's just say that the voters file that under the rationalization, or maybe it's the very strong belief of bad teammate, I will not allow a bad teammate into the Hall of Fame. The part I'd like to deconstruct is the athlete like T.O., arrogant showboat, when it's Mark Gastineau, when it's Rob Gronkowski, when it's the white guy who can celebrate his excellence with swagger, that guy gets received differently than T.O., who is the cartoon manifestation of everything everyone has ever disliked about the arrogant black athlete, because he's doing sit-ups in the lawn, he's thinking about himself, he's fighting teammates, and so I want to examine the part of most of those voters in that room are old white people, and they're raining judgment down on bad teammate T.O., who represents everything that people in sports tend to hate about old people in sports. Old white people in sports tend to hate about athletes. Isn't he the greatest representation of it we've ever seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I guess I don't understand how. It's not that I don't understand. It seems arbitrary when you want to apply these type of measurements to a specific player here and there. And that's what makes me uncomfortable. So, I'm joking a bit about this, but I think it's an important thing to discuss and to fight for. I think if we're going to take sports seriously, as so many of these people do, then we should also be fair about how we reward the athletes.
Who is the white guy that gets to be the defiant showboat? Because we'll knock some of it out of Baker Mayfield. We don't allow it in college at all among anybody. We want those students to stay broke. Stay broke financially and stay broke in.
You're saying that's out of boxing and UFC.
I'm talking about, but UFC.
Like Conor McGregor does it.
I'm talking about, and I understand that many of you don't object to the racial element of this. This is also, it's not just cultural, it's generational. Young people like that stuff. For your sport to evolve, basketball is evolving and growing because young people love all of this crud. Oh, Russell Westbrook doesn't have to hide how he is. No, it makes even more interesting the fact that he's going at Kevin Durant. He doesn't have to conceal any parts of his personality. Russell Westbrook, I don't know. How is he received?
Well, now, I think the one of the more interesting things about the past year for me has been the transformation of Russell Westbrook. And it's not necessarily his transformation, but the way society receives him. And it's all because Durant left.
Right.
It's so weird. He hasn't changed.
Yeah.
He's playing the same style of basketball. He's still wearing crazy clothes.
Isn't that interesting? It hurt Durant and it helped Westbrook. It did. But in terms of persona and the way they're viewed.
His way of being, Westbrook's way of being, is rarely applauded by Sports America unless it's Kobe, Michael Jordan winning everything, and that cutthroat, not smiling, hissing. Russell Westbrook's personality seems pretty joyless. It seems does it not come off when he's not singing at Taylor Swift concerts
and dancing before every game?
So it doesn't come off as does he give off joy to you and joy in what he's doing, or does he play joyful or angry?
I think he plays angry. He gives off competitive when he's playing a basketball game. He gives off competitive. But outside of basketball, I do. I look at him.
LeBron gives off joy, does he not? LeBron's game, he is enjoying what he's doing. Draymond, the Warriors certainly give joy off. Allen Iverson didn't give. You enjoyed Allen Iverson's game. He wasn't giving. There was no joy.
Why, you feel like LeBron gives off joy when he's playing basketball? I guess he does, except for last night.
It all changed with Russell Westbrook when he became an underdog. We made him a lovable underdog.
And we also gave another black athlete to take his spot, Durant. He's like, oh, we can hate this guy.
Who's the white, defiant, arrogant guy that is allowed to be so? Because the people do have a problem with, this isn't all about arrogance, defiance, or black. It's a little bit of all of them when it comes to T.O., and that people don't like bad teammate.
Right. I mean, people had a problem with Baker Mayfield, right?
Yes.
Matt Hasselbeck. Coin toss in overtime. We're going to take the ball, go down and score. They did not, but I mean, that attitude was there.
Wait a minute.
Everyone was laughing at him.
They were laughing at him. But this is the thing that happens with white and black all the time. Let Charlie Strong grab a referee the way Mark Richt did in that game of the University of Miami. Let Charlie Strong grab a ref that way.
That would then be our crusade, to do a public defense fund for free Charlie Strong. Get him out of jail.
I mean, is Gronk defiant? Is he defiant?
Yeah, I mean,
Gronk gets away with things that most people would not get away with.
Here's the thing: what T.O.'s greatest crime actually was not the arrogance, even though Sports America is keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. His greatest crime was zero self-awareness about how he could have helped himself by taking himself slightly less seriously. Because Barkley says some outlandish stuff, man, but you know that, like, if you can make fun of yourself, it punctures some of that defiance. Mike, I'm in the same place you are. Mike is looking around, and he's drowning in 49 boxes of T-shirts, but he can't believe that what Dominique Foxworth did right there is nominate Matt Hasselbeck for some...
Matt Hasselbeck.
I mean,
I was trying to move on, man.
It was just horrific. It was
I personally thought it was awesome.
It was
Yeah, but the way you presented it was like you had the answer.
Really excited.
That was the best part.
Excited.
I thought it was a Harvard answer.
And we all, there was a silence, but it wasn't a funny silence. We were just all staring at him like, dude.
It wasn't funny for you. For me, watching all of you on the edge of your seat, like,
yes,
he's about to drop a bomb on
That's right. We were ready.
And I hit you with that Hasselbeck?
That's right.
And
that's right.
Your face?
That's right. Yeah.
Joy.
Yes. You ruined the segment, but accomplished what?
My pockets got tight. That made me happy.
What does that mean? Just play the white guy sound and go to break.
Baby.
I don't think it applies.
Don Le Batard.
Did you love the Joker's Wild? 61% of the audience said no.
Oh, you damn young people soaring with so much ignorance.
Stugats.
You don't even know what we're talking about. The Joker's Wild is the truth, man. Stay woke.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Dominique Foxworth in with us today. He's not quite himself. Miami's a different place. We do this show from a different place. We're right on the beach, 10th and Ocean, Clevelander Hotel, and Dominique on his way in today just was almost dragged into a sexual situation. There were people having sex, and so he hasn't quite been himself. And so what happened last segment, I want to revisit it because Dominique and Stugats had a better conversation during the break than they did on air when Dominique nominated Matt Hasselbeck for the most arrogant white athlete of all time. Arrogant and defiant.
But universally accepted.
Right. Just a terrible, terrible... I don't even understand what happened there. But during the break, they had had a great conversation about Aaron Rodgers and the idea of Aaron Rodgers walks around doing a championship belt. If Cam Newton did that, hell, you get mad at Cam Newton for the first down stuff. Tom Brady. Tom Brady yells at everybody. If Cam Newton was yelling at everybody,
there are different levels of defiance. There are different ways to go about being defiant. Aaron Rodgers will do that championship belt celebration, and if he makes a great pass and he beats you, he'll give you a little, a sly wink and a smile. That's a little bit different than how T.O. did it, and I think it's viewed differently because of that.
Do you remember when Aaron Rodgers spelled relax? Like, this is cocky stuff, and it's things that I personally love and appreciate, but the thing that Stu right there is presenting is nonsense. There's a different way that he does it. A different way. It's the same thing.
It's arrogant. It gets taken differently because it's Aaron Rodgers doing it. Tom Brady's simply screaming at people, and it gets taken as leadership because it's Tom Brady doing it.
Hold up. Did we just make Aaron Rodgers' championship belt worse than what Cam Newton does? Let's do it this way. Imagine Aaron Rodgers scores a touchdown, opens a Superman shirt under his uniform, and then dabs after he scores a touchdown.
But isn't it the same thing? Putting on a championship belt? How is it different?
Well, you were saying imagine if Cam Newton does that. Newton does that, and he dabs after every first down.
And then he hands a football to a kid when he scores a touchdown.
So you're
like him.
You're arguing that it's a two-stage thing? Or that there's a dance involved? Like, I don't understand what you're arguing.
That you're holding up Aaron Rodgers' championship belt. Imagine if Cam Newton does that. Cam Newton does that, and he adds a dab to it.
I know, but Cam Newton is seen as arrogant and defiant, and Aaron isn't. That's the point is, it's the same kind of behavior received differently. The whole point of what we're talking about, same behavior received differently. Do you think a quarterback with Terrell Owens' credentials, top 5 of all time, if Johnny Manziel had been top 5 of all time, do you think anyone's keeping him out of the Hall of Fame? Because they put Joe Namath in with this personality, and he threw more interceptions than touchdowns in his career.
No, that guy's getting into the whole thing.
Is Johnny is a white player with Terrell Owens' credentials at the quarterback position getting into the Hall of Fame? Yes or no? Bad teammate. I'm saying the entire resume, and he's viewed as a bad leader and teammate, but he got to a Super Bowl, and he's got the greatest numbers of all time. You're not keeping Dan Fouts out of the Super Bowl there.
But that's the key.
Or out of the Hall of Fame, rather.
I don't think anyone questions his talent. It's viewed as a bad teammate. That's it. So Aaron Rodgers has never been viewed as a bad teammate.
Understood.
Will Matt Hasselbeck get in?
Again, you're doing this? You didn't learn your lesson from the last segment?
Hold on.
I'm serious about this.
Now he did.
Is a quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers is constantly hit with bad teammate, usually by Jermichael Finley. It's bizarre.
That is fair. I mean, there was a whole article a year ago about Aaron Rodgers being a bad teammate.
Yeah, he's hit with that all the time.
Wait a minute.
He's not the greatest example.
Hold on a minute. You guys believe that America thinks Aaron Rodgers' arrogance is problematic or makes him less likable? His confidence?
No, I don't, and that's where your point is made.
Well, no, but and look, man, Terrell Owens, it's a lot of different things. I don't even know what his greatest crime is. I just know that whatever it wasn't an actual crime. Like there are all sorts of people in the Hall of Fame.
It was the sit-ups, Dan.
Was it the sit-ups?
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't just the sit-ups. It was the Rosenhaus, too, who was a big part of that whole thing. And it was just the me stuff. And that backfires on everybody. It backfired on Johnny Manziel, too. He's white.
So wait a minute. Hold on a second. You don't think it's worse to be an arrogant black athlete than it is to be an arrogant white athlete? You don't think that the public perception...
It's a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher.
That's all I'm saying.
It was tougher for Deion Sanders than Jason Sehorn, although I would have loved to have seen Jason Sehorn do that.
Oh, my God, Jason Sehorn. I miss him so much. That guy should have played every football game carrying around a hairbrush.
He deserved it, though. He deserved to be cocky.
So pretty.
He deserved to be
Yes,
cocky.
for sure.
Beautiful man. Still is.
No, but what Dominic is saying is so. If you are a cornerback in the NFL and you are white, you get cocky privileges.
I think last time I saw the numbers, it's like 99% black position.
Praise is pouring in via text. You're desperately searching for something racial and coming up short. I'm embarrassed for you.
Why'd you read that so fast?
Hasselbeck.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hi, everyone. Stugats here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugats. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugats, STUGOTZ. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
So I keep reading about whales and dolphins and blah, blah, blah. Then I stumble upon this great animal called the narwhal, which is essentially a unicorn whale. A unicorn whale.
What?
Google it.
Stugats.
Oh, my God.
NARWHAL.
Thank you.
Look at it. Life changer. Narwhal.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save an average of $620. Check them out today at Progressive.com. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen and USC quarterback Sam Darnold are both declaring for the NFL Draft. I'm reporting this. The Browns are going to take both of them.
Yes.
Bill Belichick has told his players that despite the blizzard that's expected in the New England area, the Patriots will hold its final practices during its playoff bye week. No excuses for being late. Moron.
This guy.
Don't do that.
Sorry. No excuses for being late. I'm sorry.
If he needs it, you got to give it to him. He's helping Bill.
He is displaying behavior, that of a moron. That's all I'm saying. Save it. We're good.
You
kick, save, and a beauty.
No, it's not a kick, save, and a beauty.
Nailed it.
Here's the thing.
Nailed it.
I mean, you'd be late. So what's going to happen? Okay, Tom Brady's going to be late. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Nothing.
What are you going to do?
You're going to look angry.
Gronk's late. What are you going to do?
Crusty red beak, angry.
Moron.
It's like It's going to be like,
for the love of God.
I meant it's someone who's displaying moronic behavior.
it's like 14 feet of snow or something coming up there. And he's trying to be all tough in the media. He's showing out. And everyone says, oh, all he cares about is winning. No, he cares about his image.
You tell him.
He's trying to this is this image that he's cultivated, and he loves it. Good job, Stu.
I'd like to hear the question, though. Like, what does happen if someone important's late?
What do you mean, what happens?
No, but what
they start.
But what really happens?
They wait until Tom Brady arrives, and then they start practice.
And finally, Nielsen's 2017 year-end report provided us a chart that showed consumer trends and behaviors that shaped the year in music, and for the first time ever, hip-hop surpassed rock and roll as music's most consumed genre. According to Nielsen's, hip-hop and R&B accounted for 8 of the 10 most popular artists based on total consumption. Drake and Kendrick Lamar claim the top 2 spots, with Future, The Weeknd, Eminem, and Lil Uzi Vert.
Uzi?
The hell is that? Among the other acts.
Hold on a second.
I deserve it.
Uzi. It's spelled properly.
So how do you say it? Uzi Vert?
It's an Uzi. It's like
Lil Uzi Vote?
Yeah, there it is.
I got Vert wrong.
Hit him with it again.
Anyway, Uzi was among the other acts cracking the top 10. Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran were the only.
For the love of God, man. I don't know what to do with that.
You got the
I don't
white
know what
one.
to do with that. What am I supposed to do with that?
how's he pronounce
Ed
it?
Sheeran?
When he was popular, I knew his name.
This is as close to equality as we've ever been as a country.
Ed Sheeran.
There's no white
It
and
is.
black here
This
with
is
me,
the
man. I
most-
just can't read.
Wait a minute. We have reached the moment of harmony in America, finally. It's the whitest and the
Welcome.
blackest we've ever been together merged. He can get both names equally wrong, whether you're Ed Sheeran or Uzi Vote. What did he call him? Uzi Vote. Uzi Vert.
No, it started with
It's
Uzi. Lil Uzi
Wait a
Vote.
minute. Wait a minute. How do you make?
Uzi Vote.
Ed Sheeran.
Well, what is it?
You made him like Ben Vereen.
I'm tired of him.
You're tired of him. You just
This
said
guy,
if he was
here's
so
what happened.
popular.
He came out of the gates on fire. I loved his first
That's
couple of
true.
songs. He
That's
was
true, he did.
fantastic. And now all he's done since then is latch on to these Swifties because he's befriended Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And that's where
a
he gets
good
his
move.
popularity.
Wait, why are you mad at that? That's
And
what
he's
you
smart,
did with
though.
your career.
Yeah, I latched on to you. You're right.
He stole music from TLC.
For all the
Stealing from TLC. Crook.
You're mad.
Well, maybe he's not a crook. He just displays crook behavior.
How do you play? How do you pronounce the last name?
Sheeran.
All right, Sheeran. Good job.
Thief.
For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
All right, so Trump is going to the national championship game, and Kendrick Lamar is performing. That'll be interesting.
It hasn't been confirmed by the White House, but Atlanta has sort of announced that they're working with the Secret Service on this.
That'll do it. And so while it's not being reported as official yet, this is an interesting confluence of cultures because he is going to his base, except Atlanta's not quite his base.
Yeah. I played for the Falcons for one season, and when I got there, one of the first things that someone told me was like, as soon as you step outside of Atlanta, you're in Georgia, which is an interesting way to look because when you think of Atlanta, you don't think of Georgia necessarily.
Atlanta is black, Georgia and Alabama are not. Or, well, no, Alabama, parts of Alabama are, right?
But you're saying Georgia, the states of Georgia and Alabama are his base.
Right.
Yes, right. But that city of Atlanta, certainly.
Right, Atlanta itself, not so much.
My Sunday show, the Morning Roast with Mina Kimes and Clinton Yates, we have a group chat going, and we had this conversation about what's the expectation of Kendrick Lamar because he's a very political and smart performer.
Oh, there's no way he does that performance without doing something.
Especially with the president there.
No way that Kendrick Lamar does. Does Disney want what's coming next on this? Does Disney want any part of what's coming next where the Trump is going, like America? It's again, America coming to sports. Trump is coming to the national championship game. I don't think we've seen a lot of sitting presidents do that. And
I feel like we have, no?
national championship football game. Do I have this wrong? I don't think of that as an event that presidents go to. I don't feel like I've ever seen, since the days of Notre Dame when college football was something different.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Presidents go to major events. I don't know if whether they go to national championship football games is worth getting hung up on or not. But I think this president is unique. This artist is unique. This moment is unique. That being in that city, in that state, like I'm intrigued by what the possibilities are for that halftime.
I mean, Kendrick Lamar is an interesting choice. You could be safe with Kendrick Lamar as a popular rapper without Trump being there. But once Trump makes an appearance, you are now inviting something from Kendrick Lamar. He's really creative. Like, there is no way that Kendrick Lamar does that quietly before Trump. If we're doing Emperor Coliseum stuff and he's coming in and lording over a college football system that is, black bodies and injustice being paid in education when we don't pay Nick Saban in education, and he's lording over it. You got Kendrick Lamar performing. He's not going to do it quietly.
Well, Kendrick Lamar, he has his own base. He has his fan base. If he didn't do anything, if Trump is sitting there and Lamar didn't do anything to address Trump or anything going on, how would his fan base react to that? Would they be disappointed?
He has so many nicknames. And you just went with the one that I've never, ever heard anybody call him in my whole life. No one calls him Lamar. King Kendrick. Like, there's lots of them.
K-Dot.
Well, anyway, so I don't think his base, I think people will be disappointed. But I think that he is crafty and smart. I've listened to Kendrick Lamar songs a year or years after they first came out and caught new parts, new lyrical allusions. So I think it's possible that he could do something that is not blatantly offensive to people, but does accomplish his goal.
Oh, but this is not the part that I find interesting about it. The part that I find interesting about it is as Disney and Trump work together to put together this bogus national championship game that is a made-for-television experience, that as this is happening, who's going to put the pressure on Kendrick Lamar coming from some white power high up somewhere? Hey, Kendrick, you're not going to do anything, are you?
Paul Feinbaum.
Let's hear some Feinbaum sound as he continues to rip me and UCF and everyone else because he's SEC biased and he doesn't understand how the championship between Georgia and Alabama is fraudulent because they only play football in this one region of the country. No one else is allowed to be good, according to Feinbaum.
This is not like going to Walmart and buying a national championship. You have to actually win one to claim one. And you guys, I know all the media, Le Batard, Stu Gatz, all these other folks out there are slobbering all over UCF. But the point is, you beat Auburn. You didn't win a national championship. You won the Peach Bowl. Be happy with it.
How'd I get dragged into this?
You want to be. What are you kidding?
Thrilled.
You always get mad when I'm dragged out there. Yeah. You always get mad when I'm the one that you like. We haven't even covered how mad Stu Gatz is about the Manfred interview.
Oh, forget it. I mean, jeez. I mean, for crying out loud, one media publication out there just put my name on the article. I was there, too. I asked questions, hard-hitting questions.
He did.
That Dan fed me. Because I've latched onto him, like Ed has to Taylor. I ain't trying that last name again.
Try it again. It's easy.
Swift.
Dan Le Batard.
Deion Sanders is the best to ever do it. I think we've talked to you before briefly. I don't know how. At one point, you had gone public saying you had a sex addiction, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Stu Gatz.
No, that wasn't me. That was another guy. Ain't no sex addiction. I love sex just as much as you love sex. Ain't no addiction. You like I'm a sexaholic or something? You try to get a confession out of me.
I feel like I've talked to you about that before.
No, that wasn't me. That was the other Sanders. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stu Gatz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. UCLA quarterback Josh Rosen and USC quarterback Sam Darnold are both declaring for the NFL draft, and I'm reporting the Browns are taking both of them. Bill Belichick has told his players that despite the blizzard that's expected in the New England area, the Patriots will hold its final practice during its playoff bye week. No excuses for being late. Even you, Brady. And finally, Egypt's top cleric has issued a fatwa against Bitcoin.
What did you just do? Did you make it
I made it French.
A French word?
For all the latest headlines, and let's move it on. For all the latest headlines and information, tune to the Sports Center.
Wait a minute. Did you just do a Trey Wingo?
Fatwa.
Moving on.
No, what he does.
No, we're moving on.
Fatwa. I asked Mike before.
No, what
I said
are you
it wrong
doing?
again.
It's not. It's a fatwa.
Yeah. So the T is pronounced. So it's fatwa.
Oh, it's just like you are emphasizing the final syllable unnecessarily.
Moving on.
Let's play.
Trey's development into a radio host has been fascinating because I listen every day in my ride in, and I don't know if Trey had any experience doing radio before he started doing the show with Golic, but it's been fascinating to hear him.
What do you mean he did the show? Okay.
Well, he did the show with, I'm saying he had like a permanent radio show.
Okay.
I think he was more of a television guy. And it's funny to hear him pick up on like, he's definitely listened to some radio shows and has heard some kind of generic stuff that you're supposed to say because he'll say, rolling on a Thursday. And it's just funny. Like, it is laugh out loud funny in my car to hear Trey do this, to pick up on what other radio hosts are saying as transitions to move on, moving on a Wednesday. And I want him to do it in a way that is so over the top that he's actually mocking it. But I haven't been able to get him there yet. Because I'm sending him text left.
I haven't been able to get him there yet. What are you telling Trey Wingo how to do his job?
I mean, this dude is a pro in his area.
I'm coaching. That's all.
It's like if Jerry Rice called you and said, "Let me tell you about how to be a receiver."
It's not like that at all.
Exactly.
How is Trey Wingo receiving these phone calls or these texts from Stugotz telling Trey Wingo, polished broadcaster?
It's coaching, Dan, /sabotaging.
Well, I know you're angling for that job.
I don't know about that.
Well, you've been angling. There's been the whiff.
I never angled.
You're always. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Stugotz always angling?
I angle. But really, this is what it got down to. You don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy. You want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaces the guy.
Oh.
I'm not saying that's the case here. Rolling on.
I mean, I've seen this from the distance for a while. I'm not allowed to be surprised if I walk into the bedroom and Stugotz is there having sex with Golic. Wait a minute. Let me rephrase that. What I'm saying is I've seen him make his way into the Golic family.
I think you're allowed to be surprised if that happens.
And I can't be surprised if one day he leaves me for Golic.
Well, if they're having sex, you're allowed to be surprised. Rolling on a Thursday.
Which Golic?
I mean, you're trying with the son, with the father.
Well, the son, I just do a Sunday morning show with.
I know, but you are put this on the poll too. Is Stugotz an honorary Golic?
I am, actually.
I feel like you are.
No, I am. Actually, we did a whole ceremony.
I like the...
What do you mean? We did a whole ceremony? Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute.
I tried to stop myself. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Wait a minute. You did what do you mean a whole ceremony you did with the Golics?
Consummated it.
They consider me their adopted son.
Wait, what was the ceremony?
I was filling in for Greeny one day.
You're 44 years old.
Yeah, I was filling in for Greeny one day, and we were rolling on in the 8 o'clock hour, and Golic told me I had to eat a picture of his family. He had printed out a picture of his family on a piece of printing paper, and he said, if you eat this on air...
exactly the way I thought membership into the Golics worked.
Then you will become the adopted son of the Golics, and so I ate it on air. And then we moved on. Kept it rolling.
Wait a minute. We've been employing these weirdo Golics for a long time that have this weird family tribal ritual where you eat a picture of our family and you're a member of our family.
And then it's in there.
Yeah.
And it breaks off and it's in you forever. He can never get it out.
Yeah.
He's a Golic.
Does Mike Golic think eating is love? That families...
Yes.
Okay.
Moving on.
Let's play the sound of Steven Jackson just urinating all over Isaiah Thomas getting a tribute video.
Why is he even having a tribute video? I mean, he was only there 2 years. Maybe I think it's because Boston feel kind of bad at how things happen and how they traded him and stuff like that. But I don't think he deserves it. He was only there 2 years.
How can you say that?
Because I know a lot of players have put up more numbers in 2 years on the team and didn't go back and get a tribute. KD didn't get one.
Well, KD did not get one. A lot of people thought that was a mistake by the Thunder.
But he didn't get one.
The Thunder answered and said, we never do tribute videos for anyone.
That's a good answer.
We didn't do it for Kendrick Perkins. We're not going to do it for Kendrick Perkins.
Right. If KD didn't get one, Isaiah don't
Do you don't think that Isaiah was so central to that franchise over the last couple of years that they deserve giving him a warm welcome and thanks for the memories when he comes back?
Well, if that's the case, we're going to see a lot of tribute videos coming up in the new years.
That's why I love him.
He's great.
Who does that?
Great.
Everyone's sitting there. Everyone's patting Isaiah Thomas on the head, treating him like a keychain. And Steven Jackson's like, man, 2 years. You give me those shots, I would have scored like that too.
I love that the Le Batard disciples' tentacles are reaching into other areas of this show, because in all of that was Amin making fun of the whole thing.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, they're all doing a serious conversation about something that's not serious. And Amin's like, Kendrick Perkins.
If we can't do it for Kendrick Perkins, we can't do it for anybody. KD, you don't get a tribute video, but is he right? Like Isaiah Thomas. Here's one of the things I found fascinating about the entire Boston power structure is they turned Isaiah Thomas into someone who felt like a star or a superstar who is not a star or a superstar. He's a journeyman discard novelty who scored a lot because he got all the shots for Boston, but now Kyrie's getting all those shots and they're a better team.
Here you go hating again, Dan.
No, but am I not right?
Well, they're a better team, Dan. There's other things that have been added to that team that Isaiah did not have. He didn't have Jason Tatum. He didn't have this Jaylen Brown. There were certain
I know,
things.
but Kyrie is better than Isaiah Thomas, yes or no?
Yes. But in a tribute video is not necessarily based on the numbers or all this other stuff. It's about what you meant to that organization.
And
I
city,
think, in that city. And I think, I think Isaiah deserves a tribute video. I'm more lenient than Steven Jackson, probably on most things, but particularly, tribute videos. Give everybody a tribute video. Use it to make fun of people. Like, that's more fun. That seems more NBA than like fighting over whether a guy deserves it or not.
Right. Well, not everyone, but I just what he went through personally himself, and then through the postseason with the Celtics last year, I think that is deserving of a
That's
video.
all well and nice, but Isaiah Thomas' greatest contribution to the Boston Celtics was being traded.
Yes. Was becoming good enough, Dan, to have enough value to get them Kyrie Irving.
But that's why he was hurt. He was hurt by it. Because the tribute video ignores how hurt he was by everything that happened there. And he came out publicly and had problems with management because he thought he deserved the loyalty that fan base was extending him.
Sure.
But I do think it's reasonable to ask, give me all the other guys who have been someplace 2 years and get something like a tribute video. Form that connection that strong where they would be worthy of something like that. Because Steven Jackson's right. You usually don't get that from 2 years. And he's applying his perspective there. Right. Steven Jackson was largely only in places 2 years.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, he was there for that emotional family situation. Like, again, it's not about the numbers or the duration. It's what you mean to the franchise. And you can't name very many other players whose value was bringing you Kyrie Irving. That's a tribute video, and I
That's how it should have ended, though. The tribute video
so
should have ended with Kyrie walking into this.
That's
his introductory press conference, like bang,
Isaiah walking
beat
out
me to it.
Isaiah's championship. Isaiah's championship is we got Kyrie, and we made you insane with anger after trading you, even though you played for us in the playoffs during the death of your sister.
That's why I want everyone to get a tribute video. And like, if there's a guy who just sat on your bench, show a 30-second tribute video when he comes back of him just sitting on your bench. Like, everyone who's ever been anywhere, we give him a tribute video.
That's good stuff. I'm wondering if you guys think, in all truth, that someone is being given the job at Disney, at the White House, of telling Kendrick Lamar that his halftime performance cannot go after Donald Trump, who is now, it is being reported, not by ESPN yet, but out of Atlanta, that Donald Trump is going to the national championship game. Is there someone who's going to go to Kendrick Lamar and say, not here, and how is that going to go over? Because I can't imagine Kendrick Lamar going through with a performance where they say, not here.
Don't you think that they talk to him before they sign whatever contracts? You're not, or not him specifically, but his people? Like, I don't imagine in this climate, given the persona that he has, that no one said anything before signing him that you cannot use this platform. We must approve everything you wear and everything you say. Even when Beyonce wore a beret, that like had, Black Panther iconography at halftime of the Super Bowl show, like that became a thing. I guarantee you that somebody either at ESPN or in the college football playoff system someone's spoken to his people already about that they should get final approval
But do you think,
on everything.
you think he abides by it?
You think he agreed to something?
You think he abides by it now?
No.
Like I think
the game's changed.
No,
too, right?
I think the game has changed, and I think we're headed towards something that's going to be a thing.
It's not binary. There are ways that he can make a statement that can be subversive in a way that gets his point across.
Well, Prince did that during a Super Bowl where he's doing phallic things. Have you guys ever seen the press conference with Prince where he walks in with the entourage to the Super Bowl and he just swaggers in with his whole band and interviewers, like they just stand at microphones like a normal press conference, and then an interviewer begins to ask a question and they just break into song, and that's their press conference, and then they leave. Like Kendrick is going to have platforms here to do things that are very Kendrick. And when you say we're at a specific moment in time and these two people, Kendrick Lamar and Donald Trump, are specific to that time. I mean, Kendrick Lamar right now is doing a lot of speaking for black people in a way that has reached white people. I can't think of anyone he has replaced Kanye.
I mean, my point is that he could just wear like a 44 jersey, which is a subtle shot. It also should be a UCF jersey. Just throw that on top.
Roy just muttered, "Thank God." What happened? Roy, why did you mutter "thank God" about Kendrick replacing Kanye?
I can't with Kanye. I'm sorry. You marry a Kardashian, you expect to represent black people that way? No, I'm sorry. I can't. I'd rather have Kendrick.
Wait a minute. He's allowed to marry whomever he wants with love. Okay. But the Kardashians, I understand. It's a general objection to him becoming less Kanye West and more Kardashian.
Like Roy and I and all of black people do not have to accept one spokesperson if white people will not. Who's the white spokesperson?
No, that's all we'll allow right now is Kendrick Lamar.
Who's the white spokesperson?
No, we had a meeting.
Okay,
we had a meeting. Yes. Did nobody tell you about this?
Okay, that's fine. We
had a meeting. White people had a meeting. I wasn't there. I was told about it. White people had a meeting, and they said Kendrick Lamar is allowed to speak on behalf of black people. We will allow it.
Okay, well,
Trebek was there. Trebek allowed it.
As long as Eminem gets a freestyle.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. At the black meeting, we decided on one person to represent all white people, and it's Matt Hasselbeck. Okay,
but the black meeting doesn't have the same power and reach as the white meeting.
Roll it on!
What?
That's right. White people decide this. They have throughout history. Don't take that away from us. We won't let you take anything away from us. And I'm not even us. I'm brown.
You were.
You're not taking...
Don Le Batard.
Do you refer to the yellow sauce at a hibachi restaurant as yum yum sauce? 57% of the audience said no.
Stugats.
Do you go ginger yum yum? Yum, 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 or yum, 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 yum. 38% of the audience said yum, 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 yum. So they get 3 yum, yum sauces. They ditch the ginger, get 2 yum, yums with an additional yum, yum. Second place was ginger, yum, yum. Fat Chris said earlier, no one goes ginger, ginger. 18% of the audience goes ginger, ginger. And 18% of the audience also goes yum, 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 yum. About that.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Dominique, before the microphones came on here, Dominique Foxworth, he's a former cornerback. He ran the NFL Players Union. He was the COO of the NBA Players Union. He's with us all day today. And right before the microphones came on, he was about to say, he didn't finish the thought because the microphones came on, that we have to add to the grid of death a picture that somebody has to eat, a family picture, but I don't want to add it to the grid of death. I got right in front of me a picture of me and my father, and I was hoping that in a ritual that you would eat this.
Me or Dominique?
This picture. No, I was hoping, I want your allegiance to be at least equal. If you're just joining us, Stugats has become an honorary Golic because the Golics have a tradition of eating a family picture. That's how you become adopted into their family. And I am jealous because Stugats is flirting with the Golics and prefer to be, frankly, on their show. And if we're really being honest, replacing Trey Wingo. And he hasn't said that, but I felt it. No, he hasn't said it, but I felt it. And they had a family, the Golics, these weird ritualists.
I mean, it's true, though. I am always on your side, Stu, but in this incident, by swallowing the Golic picture, you have shown a little bit more allegiance to the Golic. So hand it to him, Dan.
Right. So I have this picture.
But I drive here every day to do the show with Dan. Even though my drive to Bristol would be a shorter one, I still drive here every day to host the show with Dan, not Golic.
Right, but we are not family.
I mean, take a little piece, just a little bite, just to show us.
Well, no, why a little bite? How are we doing this? How are we doing this? I have a very large picture of me and my father.
Right. But this is not your family ritual. Do you have a family ritual?
Well, it is now, though. I kind of like it. I want to steal it from the Golics.
Oh.
I kind of like it. Even though it seems kind of pagan and maybe cannibalistic, I want to steal it from the Golics.
What would be a better ritual then? What is more, because eating is a very Golicky thing. What would be a Lebertardian thing?
Well, I think he is now eating it out of my hand like a grazing animal of some sort. Oh, he is showing love. Oh, eat the picture. Yes. Glorious.
Terrible.
It does taste terrible.
All of it in there.
Tastes like, oof. That'd be an unpleasant thing to do. All right. Oof.
Swallow?
No, he's not going to swallow that. He's not going to swallow that. That's just chewed up. He can't swallow that. Look at it. No.
Look at this commitment, though. This man is committed.
Can he swallow that? Is it a good idea to swallow that? Is that going to come out in the toilet with my face on it? Isn't that a thing that happens when kids like swallow coins and stuff? You have to go searching through their poop to find it, to make sure that they're not like radioactive or contaminated or something?
No.
We don't go through poop to see if someone's eaten something?
No.
Is that, wait a minute. That's not a thing. What I just said, if your child, what just happened there?
I finished.
You just threw out a slobbered piece of my face on the floor.
That was just a slobbered piece.
In.
You're not the family. Oh, God. That one almost made me gag. He just picked up a saliva.
Oh, don't.
I got a weak stomach, man.
Tear me off half of that, Stu. I want to get involved.
Oh, no.
No.
No, you're not going to do it.
Want to be a member of the family? Come on. I dare you. If you do this is worse than any grit of death punishment. There's no way you're going to do
kidding.
it. The fact that you're holding it.
I think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. If he eats that piece of
I already ate the piece of
If he eats that piece of if he eats it out of your mouth, I will vomit. If you want me to vomit, if you want me to vomit on ESPNU right now, historically, we got a minute left.
Dominic, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this hand back in my mouth. I want you to grab it out of my mouth. Okay?
I'm not kidding.
There you go. I'm going to throw up.
I can't. Will we go to jail if he dies? Are we killing him? This was so real. There's actual vomit on the floor over there. This might have been the best TV segment ever. He's crying. Oh. Stu, you got to take the steering wheel. I don't think he's. Oh my gosh.
You want a piece, Dan? Well, we're family.
That was brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless.
You want more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats? Tune in starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Dan Le Batard.
I met Rob.
You've met Rob Kardashian.
Remember I went to California last year with my family? I was waiting with my daughter outside his house, and he just happened to come out.
Did you see Rob or you met Rob?
I said hello to Rob.
Did he say hello back?
No.
That's not a meeting.
That's not a meeting.
Stugats.
And Ken Jeong was at the gym with me. Ken Jeong. He was doing the treadmill. I was doing the elliptical. I only went on the elliptical to try to spark up a conversation with Ken Jeong.
That's the only one I believe out of the three.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's true.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Mike, Stugats just asked me if I watch Ozark.
Great show.
How many months did we spend talking on this show in front of Stugats about the show Ozark, and he just asked me.
I do not work here. However, I am a loyal listener. I watch the show Ozarks because Dan talked about it on this show so much. I even came down here and talked about watching the show Ozarks while in Morocco.
Wow.
And you
must have missed those shows.
It was so amazing.
Yep. I mean, I watched it because the Golics told me it was great.
Didn't you get in trouble, Dominique, for almost getting in trouble in Morocco trying to watch Ozark?
My brother decided to get married in Morocco. His wife is from Virginia. He grew up in Baltimore. I'm not sure why they were getting married in Morocco. That's a whole nother ball of wax. But I went to Morocco for his wedding, and I was watching Ozarks on my iPad, and porn is illegal in certain Muslim countries. Ozarks isn't porn, but it's like a HBO style.
Close enough.
Yeah, there's actual kind of sex scenes and those sorts of things.
It would have been something close to porn if someone had walked past your computer while you were watching a sex scene in Ozark.
It's a great show.
I'm sitting in the airport, terrified. Everyone walks by. I'm tilting the thing, but I'm just watching Netflix.
So we spent months on that?
Yes.
All right. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Chris Sims is going to join us in a half hour. Very excited. What number are we on, Mike? 54th? He'll reveal his 54th best
53,
quarterback.
53.
Oh, we're on 53. His 53rd best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
A half hour from now.
Tom Savage was 54.
That's right. I'm sorry. Here's your Sports Center update. Oilers forward Patrick Maroon was suspended for 2 games without pay by the NHL on Wednesday for an illegal check to the head on Kings defenseman Drew Doughty. The Dallas Mavericks have changed their Chinese translation of Mavericks from Little Cows to Lone Ranger Heroes. And finally, reviews are in for Bright, Netflix's fantasy action movie about a human cop and his orc partner trying to find a magic wand. How can this be good?
They're coming out with a sequel.
And they're extremely bad. But Netflix's aggressive marketing for the film has paid off. According to The Hollywood Reporter, it's the #1 movie on Netflix in over 190 countries in its first 3 days of release. Nielsen reports an average of 11 million U.S. Netflix subscribers watched it, and that's only the people who watched it through a TV. Netflix has been apparently validated in announcing a sequel.
How soon before Netflix starts fighting Amazon to own everything? Like Bezos and Netflix are going to go to war here
Going
soon.
at it, yes.
I mean, Netflix just figured out, just throw an orc on there. Will Smith, get us the marketing. Doesn't matter whether the movie's any good or not. 190 countries. There's an orc and Will Smith.
Oh, man.
Some of their shows are great, though. Some of the Netflix shows.
Netflix has proven you have Dominique and I were talking about this during a break. You have coaches. You could do this in sports. You have one success, and then you get all sorts of opportunities to have other failures because you get such a creative. Like everyone knows, the movie stars are going to Netflix. Netflix is going to be fine for a long time because people have figured out that Netflix is the place to go if you want to do something counterculture.
I wanted to share with you guys. I was totally gripped by something I watched on Netflix last night. There's this show that's kind of like The Twilight Zone. Each episode's a standalone thing, Black Mirror.
I just started watching
Did you watch
Yes.
episode 1 of season 4? It's starring the guy that's in it that it revolves around is Todd from Breaking Bad in this one episode. I saw a great one.
Scott Frost. He looks like Scott Frost, the champion coach of USC. Scott Frost accepts.
UCF, that's a fun.
Mother.
So this show, this episode is fantastic. I've only seen one other Black Mirror episode, and it was with John Hamm, and that was really good. But this was one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen, and it's a standalone thing. All you have to do is just watch episode 1 of season 4, and you've watched Black Mirror.
Will do.
Really? Because I'm on episode 4 of season 1.
Really?
And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the show.
They're all standalone stories. This one in particular, and there's a lot of big Black Mirror fans out there. They love this episode, and they say it's probably the best one in the series.
You guys realize that for all the people who are criticizing ESPN for whatever they believe ESPN's failings are, ESPN had the opportunity of being in sports what Netflix is in terms of creative content, where you could just keep throwing. I don't even understand how Netflix can throw this much money at things, but ESPN had the kind of money that their programming could have looked like this in sports. Will Smith with an orc doing some sort of sports movie if they had chosen to go with the aggressive, just flood the new technology market with money and creativity and see what it births.
Yeah, I mean, I could get some of my professors to come and talk to you about those complicated things if you want to have those conversations. But I think the interesting thing about that is there's no competitive force. And I know you've talked about this. Why would they do that when they could throw a couple dudes on a cheap set and their ratings are going to be the same? Like they keep you know how expensive it is to do something like that? Netflix has to do that. because they're competing
Well, that's
with
their business. I mean, that's what Netflix is.
But nobody's willing to do that because of how much you're going to, how much you have to lose on the front end.
Right, and it's not worth it. It's worth it for Netflix to lose that money if they think they're going to win in the end. It's not worth it for Disney to lose that money on ESPN because they're going to win in the end because no one is bigger or badder than ESPN.
One of the things that I find fascinating about the business of sports and sports broadcasting right now is ESPN has very clearly realized with a $50 billion recent purchase that the competition has never been another sports entity. The competition is Netflix, and now Disney wants in on the fight. Like Disney's looking at ESPN and saying, look, you've been our biggest moneymaker for a long time, but now we want to go to fight. We want to fight with Netflix because Netflix is coming and they want Disney stuff.
And it's not just Netflix, Amazon, Facebook.
But I find that to be we've been sitting here thinking about ESPN as having sports fights.
Nope.
ESPN doesn't have a natural competitor. There is no such thing.
No. I'm just reading here.
But Disney does.
Yeah.
Netflix is coming and they want Disney stuff. Disney's not going to allow that with Disney just poured $50 billion into you did what?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they're going on. Isn't Disney planning to launch an over-the-top service and take all their movies away from Netflix?
Yes, that's exactly. Yes, that's
of
what
course.
they're doing. Yes,
but
and
see,
shows.
That's the top of the entertainment ladder, fighting over the dollars. That's a fight I'm here for. Disney against Netflix.
Forbes is saying that Netflix did over $11 billion in revenue last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's revenue.
Wow.
Yeah, they're not turning a profit.
In terms of profit, it's under $200 million.
Mm-hmm. You think they are actually turning a profit?
There's a lot of articles out there that
I would argue that
suggesting
they're not
actually turning a profit.
Amazon's not, right?
They hadn't been for a while, but Forbes is saying last year was the first year they turned a profit.
Can you guys imagine, though, if ESPN, I don't know what the numbers are, it's something or whatever, ESPN for Disney has made billions of dollars in the last few years. Billions. 18, 19, $20 billion. Disney's biggest moneymaker is ESPN and has been for a long time. Can you imagine if ESPN took all the money it was making and just poured it right back into content? Like weren't interested in like making the profits, just poured all of it because that's what Netflix is doing to try and get in this game. They're not trying to get into a game with small people. They're trying to get in the biggest of the entertainment games.
We wouldn't have jobs. They would go out and get the most talented, most creative people in
That is correct.
In
Jon Stewart would be working on ESPN.
Bad idea.
Like Ezra Edelman, like everything on ESPN would be of the quality of Ezra's.
It'd be Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Us fools sitting in a tiny room making jokes.
But that's why I was so disappointed by what Fox did. If Fox is going to throw money at it, why would you throw money at Bayless and Cowherd or anybody who was at ESPN and not go the Netflix route? If what you're coming after is ESPN, why won't you go the Netflix route of let's make content that's really different and original from ESPN, not let's be a poor man's ESPN.
You often see, like I do, quirky digital videos where I dress up in characters and do weird stuff for the Undefeated on a series called Practice Squad. And they're very unique, good videos for ESPN. Measure that up against what people in Hollywood are doing. Like, if they actually put the money behind producing something like that, first of all, I would not be the host. And second of all, it would be 30 times better.
Well, but this happened. Look.
Bad idea.
Hold on, though. But this already happened at ESPN. Bill Simmons.
And stop giving them good ideas, please.
Bill Simmons is the biggest thing in the history of ESPN personalities. And he went to HBO, and that show that he was doing on HBO would have been wonderful here on ESPN, and it was gone with a year on HBO because the challenge there is you got to be as good as John Oliver and Bill Maher.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Close second, me.
Close second to what? You're
Simmons.
the second biggest personality in the history of ESPN, are you?
I'll eat another piece of paper if you say yes.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Is Stugatz the second biggest personality in the history of ESPN?
I think he's first.
Thank you.
He is the most unique person in all of media.
Boom.
Like, nobody in all of media do you see their true self more than you see Stugatz. Like, everyone else is putting on a facade and convincing viewers and listeners that they have a relationship with them and that they know them. Stugatz is the only person in all of entertainment that people actually know the true person. He's one of a kind.
So you are alleging here
Jerry
on
Rice.
the radio right now that Stugatz is the most honest person in the history of the media.
I mean, can you refute it? Who is more genuinely themselves
Bingo.
than Stugatz?
Don Le Batard.
Never going to stop. I am what I am, man. I'm 44 years old. I ain't changing.
Stugatz.
Why change now? It's worked. Here I am. Sitting next to you. filthy rich.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Dominic Foxworth in with us all show today. Grateful for his presence. You could watch him today, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. Highly questionable. Mike, can I get a Crusades update? What's going on with our Crusades? We got a megacast on Monday. We have proclaimed Central Florida the national champion, and so we're going to go up to Orlando here at some point with T-shirts and a parade and a trophy. Guillermo, why are you shaking your head no?
I want to see what happens with there's 49 boxes of shirts, what we're going to do with 42 extra boxes of shirts after this is done.
Well, why? You don't think anybody's going to be there?
We're not going to give out 2,500 shirts. That's insane.
Well, the hope is that we have a sort of setup where this would be entirely possible. So right now we're sort of in a holding pattern because negotiations are ongoing right now with UCF.
Where is this going to be televised? Do we know? Like, where are we going to put together this announcement? You do realize that...
on
look,
Stugats' Periscope.
Hold on a second. You guys
really?
You guys do realize, right, that the only difference between our championship and the one being celebrated on Monday is the fact that the powers that be have made that the measurement. Like, it's just as arbitrary as what we're doing. If we had made UCF versus Auburn the national championship game, it'd be just as valid as making this the championship game. Like, it's just a made-for-television contrivance. This is not...
Well, that UCF and Auburn were both deserving of playing in that national championship?
What I'm saying to you is ESPN, Disney, and college football have worked together to produce a national championship game that becomes the national championship just because they said so. It's not determining the best team. It's just the way they've put the structure together to determine the best team, and so they get the trophy. But what I'm saying is it's just as arbitrary as what we're doing. It's just got more money. We got 49 boxes of T-shirts. ESPN has President Trump and Kendrick Lamar performing at the halftime ceremony, but they're the same thing. It's an arbitrary champion chosen by a committee and a bunch of people, and I'm saying the committee's wrong.
Well, UCF chose themselves. I mean,
well, but me and UCF are saying the committee's just wrong. Yeah. The best resume out there belongs to UCF.
I'm not really sure what happened with the T-shirts because I was talking about 2,500 earlier in the week, and 2,500 became 3,500. So either way, it's a lot of T-shirts. But we are working on a solution.
What do you mean solution? Why do you mean that we're not going to get at our Crusade's not going to draw 2,500 people who want free T-shirts when people, man, wasn't Baker Mayfield fighting over a T-shirt cannon this weekend?
But this is at like 10 in the morning in the middle of a week.
And what? Champions have big parades.
They're having one on Sunday.
Well, let's have another one.
Oh, we're part two?
We're the part two, yes.
Oh. We might be part one.
We're negotiating to be part of part one.
Oh, okay.
Well, as a backup to the part two thing. But the part two thing is big and cool. So I don't really have an update there. We're in a bit of a holding pattern, but I do have all the details that you'd want about our megacast.
I think it's funny. One of the reasons that I love this crusade is that I love the idea of ESPN being publicly divided about who the champion should be. And one portion of ESPN going to Orlando to proclaim them the champion because they beat the team that beat the two teams that are playing on Monday.
Well, that was one of the unexpected hurdles in all this. I really wouldn't want to call it a hurdle. There's just someone did ask the question, what does this mean for our whole college football playoff national championship thing?
It elevates it.
I think so.
More intrigue.
Gets people thinking. Gets people talking.
People love to think, right, Stu?
Yep.
So what is the next step with our megacast on Monday where we will be asking others to watch us watch what I'm identifying as the bogus national championship game on Monday?
Right. Well, the megacast
Good sell.
The megacast stand is absolutely taking shape in that I actually know when it's going to be, which is huge for me.
All right.
Personally.
Yes.
So the megacast will be on during the national championship game. It'll be on ESPNU, but we're not the only ones doing this megacast. There's a whole bunch of crews all over the nation doing their megacast, and whenever we're good, they're going to go to us. So our hope is that we're just good the entire time. But there would be a dedicated channel just to us on ESPN3.
Is there any way to convince the powers that be at ESPN and Disney to simply change their mind and say, you know what, this thing we're doing Monday with Trump and K-Dot, we've rethought the whole thing. This is a bogus national championship situation, and all these megacasts that we're doing for this made-for-TV event, we got it wrong. What a clerical error. UCF deserves to be the champion.
I say zero chance of that happening.
No chance of that
we're
happening?
moving forward with this megacast in which Georgia and Alabama will be playing for what many would say is the rightful national
It's not
championship.
the rightful national. It is not the rightful national
saying what
championship.
Well,
what many would say, the many can go right to hell. Straight to hell with no detours.
You're sending Feinbaum to hell?
That's right.
Wow.
Say hello.
Say hi to Art Briles.
So I'm very excited about this megacast, though. No, I'm not sure how many people are going to be watching us because I wouldn't watch it.
Everyone's going to watch.
This is for the diehards. We're just going to be watching this game as it is live. They're going to let us do our radio show around this event. Normally, they just roll a ball out, and people who may or may not have met before are talking about the game. Our whole cast of characters is going to be here. The game is going to be on the entire time. We're going to be reacting to it, and we're going to be doing shows. They said, hey, do you guys want commercial breaks? Because on ESPN3, that could go dark, and all the other ones do it. I said no commercials. We want 3.5 hours. If someone needs to go to the bathroom, they get up and go to the bathroom.
They go to the bathroom right there. In fact, let's make that one of the rules. Our megacast on this bogus national championship symbolically is if any of us have to poop, we do so on Disney television. So then Nick Saban.
There's going to be a lot of content, and there's going to be a lot of show because we're going to be on during commercial breaks. I mean, there's only 11 minutes of game action anyway, so we're going to be needing to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Is it as large as 11 minutes? Does football have 11 minutes of game action? Is it that high? I would say it's lower than that, isn't it?
These are two offenses that love to run the ball.
And college is, you'll have more plays in college than professional because of the clock stopping situation.
But Mike, you're hardcore. Like, I love the megacast. I watch it all the time. I watch that coach's room. And I'm telling you, if Fedora's going up against us, we are doomed. But I watch that stuff. Like, you're a hardcore fan. You don't watch that stuff?
I flip around to it, but I think the bulk of my time is watching the game broadcast because I think Herb Schreid does an amazing job.
Is there anything else in entertainment that stretches the dollar quite that way, where you're getting 11 minutes of action, but it gives you 3 hours of content on television? Is there anything like that where basically it's not even that the 11 minutes are that good, but the 11 minutes are the only action and it lasts 3 hours? The 11 minutes. Is there anything else in entertainment that can do that, where it's giving you 11 minutes and it's the most highly watched thing over 3 hours that you find anywhere in television, but you're only getting, and those 11 minutes aren't always good. Hell, Dallas and Philadelphia gave us exactly 0 minutes this weekend of usable content.
0 good minutes?
0 good minutes of usable content, and the Browns have given us 2 seasons of 0 good content. But what else in entertainment is like that where I don't even think 11 minutes is right. The average, Mike, give me the number for what the average NFL game might have 6 minutes of actual action.
Well, Mike was talking about college, which is longer, but I don't know. Only comparisons I can come up with are like food comparisons where you get something that is completely fluff, like a bag of potato chips. It looks all full. You open it. All there, like 6 chips.
Well, the NFL is 11 minutes of game action. I'm checking college football right now.
Oh, so maybe a little bit longer. But our intent with this megacast is to give you roughly 210 minutes of just amazing action nonstop and entertainment. Right. No one's done what we're doing, which is what I'm excited about.
Okay. So what about what Dominique is saying there, though? I want to get back into that. Hold on a second. I want to get back into the idea of what is the chip most guilty of giving you crappy bag filled with air? Who is the chip most guilty of this? Find out next.
Don Le Batard.
I'm looking up okapis, learning about them. I stumble upon another animal that is also amazing called a tufted deer. It's a deer with fangs, Dan. A fanged deer.
Stugats.
Are you a carnivore? What are you doing, tufted deer? Look it up. Okapis, tufted deer. Learn it, love it, live it. You welcome.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
I am quitting the internet as a New Year's resolution. And what I want to ask you guys is, I'm not seeing what the audience is saying. Who is the manufacturer of chips most responsible for producing too much air per bag and not enough chips? Who is most guilty of this scam being perpetrated upon the American people? I am not a chip eater, so I don't have an expertise in this area. Does anyone around here have expertise in this area that you can nominate someone or something that everyone would agree with?
Well, when I was a 90s kid snacking on original Lay's, the original yellow Lay's package, the air-to-chip ratio has got to be what you're talking about.
That guy should be one of the greatest inventors ever, the guy who has pulled off that marketing scam. Whoever that was, or the woman, or whatever person invented the scam of, look, it's going to look like a big bag of chips, but Like, imagine if you went to buy a car and you only got 60% of it. Like, imagine anywhere else where you're like, they're trying to sell you this is a big bag of chips, but it's not a big bag of chips.
I feel like the Frito-Lay's brand owns like all of the chips. Like, there's a bunch of different brands of chips out there, and you may think that you're not buying Frito-Lay's, but they're kind of all Frito-Lay's. So I think that they by default, they don't really have much competition.
A lot of people have been saying cottage fries. You ever have those?
Oh, yeah. Those rip-off artists.
I have to tell you, I agree with them.
Yes.
Everyone who is sending that in, I agree with you. I mean, the chips come up halfway.
That's right.
Halfway. That's it.
It's infuriating.
Yep.
Someone else made the analogy to a college education. I would disagree with that, I think, but I get the point where you feel like, because the amount of money you make after having a college education, I think, does justify getting a college education.
Ruffles is the undisputed champion of that.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is Ruffles the undisputed champion of ripping you off with air in the chips?
Hold on, they're not sponsoring anything on our network.
No, it's too late for that. Chris Sims joining us now. He's from Bleacher Report. We are ranking the 70 top quarterbacks in the NFL. He started at number 70 with Blake Bortles. He believes that there are 69 quarterbacks in the NFL better than Blake Bortles. And the recent list is...
I love that Bortles is only better than Cody Kessler.
That's it. On our list, Cody Kessler is 71, Blake Bortles is 70. And Chris Sims has Austin Davis at 69, TJ Yates at 68, Cardale Jones 67, Brandon Weeden, CJ Beathard, Sean Mannion, a person I'd never heard of before he spoke his name, Jake Ruddock, another person, he can sling it, Cooper Rush, Nathan Peterman, I've heard him, but only because he's a traveling comedy act, Landry Jones, Paxton Lynch, Matt Castle, Ryan Mallett, just poop, and then Tom Savage.
Mm-hmm.
Poop by another name. 53, according to Chris Sims. Chris Sims, top quarterbacks in all of football. Number 53, according to Chris Sims, is...
Brian Hoyer, New England Patriots. Bam! Blowing your mind away out here, guys.
Hoyer, wow.
Yes, Brian Hoyer. Did you see the Patriots walk into practice today? Brian Hoyer was exceptionally on time.
That's right.
He was so good at being on time. What happened, Mike? What was that video you saw of the Patriots sludging through practice because Belichick ordered everyone in early?
I could barely see the New England Patriots.
That's
All
right.
I saw was white, which was usually historically their receiving core.
Give him the laugh. You do it right now.
Yeah.
Too loud.
Don't mess with him, man. I'm telling you, I mean, I worked up there for a year and a half, and snow days, it just doesn't matter. I mean, if you're supposed to be there at 7:30, then you better get up 30 minutes earlier to get there. I mean, he literally, as guys would walk in the door late, he would just go home. You have to walk by Belichick's office and his assistant, Berge Nigerian, and they would just tell guys to go home before they even walked in the building.
A, that's an awesome name. B, this Belichick persona is a contrivance by Bill Belichick that he really cares about, because that is true of every NFL team. No one, like, I can tell you so many stories from being in Denver with Coach Shanahan where we would get terrible snowstorms and everyone knew that you're not late for anything. So this is, I nominate this for a Stugatz rant at some point, because Belichick cares about this persona that he's created.
Well, we make a bigger deal about it because it's Belichick.
Well, what are you railing against? What are you asking?
He's saying every team has this.
No, I'm just saying that Belichick in general is quite aware of the persona that he's created of gruff football guy that doesn't care about anything about football, and we all pretend like it means that he doesn't care. But he has cultivated this image by telling us to chant no days off and by giving these press conferences. Like, Belichick cares. He's a diva, prima donna.
But Sims, help me out here. If Brady walks in late, Bears Nigerian is telling him to go home?
Yes.
No.
I mean, I really think so. I mean, Brady wouldn't be late. He knows the animal in which he's dealing with. So that's why he's the quarterback of the team and so successful. I mean, he's not going to even make that a close call. He sent Randy Moss home in 2007 or 2008. So it doesn't matter who you are. I mean, I hear you. I mean, Bill's a smart guy. He knows who he is, but it really is who he is. He is a curmudgeon, and that's why the grind of working and being a head coach in the NFL, it's just nothing to Bill. Bill's idea of a vacation is like, let me go to Miami, I'll bring my film and my notebooks, I'll watch some girls walk by, and I'll watch some film while I'm doing it. I mean, that's literally what his idea of a vacation, he lives it. It never turns off. It's what he does all day, 24/7, 365.
During sex. That's what you're alleging. During sex, Bill Belichick. I want this question answered directly. No, not watching film. Oh. Well, we may be watching film, different kind of film. Maybe it's that film. I don't know. But Chris Sims, are you alleging that during sex, Bill Belichick is thinking about football?
No, I'm not alleging that.
All right, so
I think he can escape there for. I don't know how long Bill lasts.
2 minutes. A couple minutes. We include the championship, the cheating, and the trophy.
You're unbelievable.
And the sandwich and the cigarette. Thank you, Chris, for being on with us. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate your list.
Chris.
Thanks, guys. Be good. Have a good day.
Hold on. Well, you had something for him?
Yeah, did you want to ask
him
something for him?
Yeah.
What do you want to ask? Hold on. Let's get him back on the line. Let's get him back on the line.
Wait a second.
I'm already here.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good news.
Hey, Chris, it's Mina. Do you look like Scott Frost?
Oh, do I look like him? I mean, all white people look alike, don't they? I mean, we have blonde
Get him
hair.
out of here.
We have blonde hair, and yes, we were tall. I guess similar. Yes, we could be cousins. We played on the same team in Tampa one year. So, but yeah, I mean, I get you. He could be a cousin.
Okay, very good. Chris, we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Bleacher Report, check him out. Chris Sims, we appreciate your time, sir.
He's good. He left already.
Okay.
You have anything else for him? Do you have a follow-up?
What else would we
can
ask
get him back.
We got 53 more days of this stuff. 52 more days.
Are you regretting this contract? Hey, Chris. Chris, are you regretting this contract? Or?
I mean, there's times. I'm certainly being underpaid for this. I can tell you that much.
Wait a minute. Stugotz, you just slid me a note saying you wanted to ask Chris Sims whether or not Nance got the family anything for Christmas. And you've already asked him that.
No.
You've run out of material,
Chris,
and we're in the 50s.
I asked if Chris was going to get anything for Sims before the holiday, and now I'm wondering, since the holiday has passed, did Jim Nance get anything for the Sims family?
I don't know that. That would not be sent to my house, that's for sure. I'm not sure if Big Phil, that's what we call him in our household. I don't know if he got anything or not.
Wait a minute, you call your father Big Phil?
Yeah.
You don't call him Dad?
Big guy, Big Phil. Yeah.
Wait a minute, why does he demand that? Big Blowhard? Wait a minute, he doesn't get called Dad by you? You call your dad Big Phil?
Yeah, I do, yeah. What's up, big guy? What's up, Big Phil? Big Phil. That's how we talk to him in our house, yeah.
Thank you, Chris. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
I mean, at some point, we got to get down into the details of this ranking. I want to know exactly what is it about Tom Savage that makes him better than Brock Osweiler. But, I mean, we don't have to get him back.
Is
but
Chris there? Is Chris there?
Okay,
No, we let him go for real this time. We did ask too many Tom Savage follow-ups yesterday.
Last time. We've run out of things to talk about with Chris Sims. I'm beginning to regret this decision, even as I like Chris Sims.
Well, 52 more days.
Yeah, well, but you've got to come up with better questions.
I do.
Let's do 2 a day.
2 a day?
2 a days.
Wow.
2 a day.
2 a day.
Or how about we do 10 a day?
Yeah,
Well, the MegaCast counts as a show, so we're at least getting one there.
I had a great idea. 52 per day.
Do you guys want to keep doing this for the next 50 days? Put that on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Do you guys want to keep doing this with Chris Sims for the last 50 days? Next 50 days, let the audience decide.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPNU.